There's a big budget battle brewing on Capitol Hill right now. We're awaiting a vote that's planned for today in the House on Congressman Paul Ryan's plan to balance the budget in 10 years, that program would, while the Senate is debating a string of budget proposals that would go into all of this and also have to do with the so-called continuing resolution. New Hampshire Senator Kelly Ayotte introduced an amendment to cut a missile system that she says the Pentagon has already accepted that they will never use. Its nickname is called the Missile to Nowhere, and cutting it could free up more than $380 million. Senator Ayotte joins us now live from Capitol Hill. Good morning, Senator. Good
morning,
to have
Martha.
you with us today.
Great to be with you.
So what is the Missile to Nowhere?
It's a missile program that we've already spent $3 billion on, that the Army has said it doesn't want, that the Pentagon said it'll never procure, that we'll never get a result on a missile that our troops can use. And in fact, the Defense Committee, the Armed Services Committee I serve on, prohibited funding for it in this most recent defense authorization on a bipartisan basis, yet the appropriators put money back in for it, $380 million for literally a missile to nowhere. We'll never get anything our troops can use from it, and it's outrageous. I tried to get a vote on this to strike this funding and to put the funding to use where our troops could use it, and I couldn't get a vote on the Senate floor. It's very outrageous.
It certainly sounds like a no-brainer to anybody who listens to what you just said. Who is standing in the way? Who is supporting this missile to nowhere that, as you say, the Army has already said that they have no use for this project?
Basically, who's standing in the way is, I think, a combination of people. You've got appropriators and think that it might somehow benefit a company in their state to keep spending money on something we're not going to be able to get any results for our military. And also, the majority leader of the Senate blocked me from bringing this common sense amendment to the Senate floor. And you think about it, I actually have bipartisan support for this amendment. I think they're worried that it would pass. But can you believe it? With sequestration, $380 million we're going to waste of taxpayer dollars.
What is Harry Reid? What states are primarily affected or benefit from this program? And why does Harry Reid refuse to allow it to be part of the bill?
Well, it's only a handful of states, Martha. And I might also add, by the way, this $380 million, most of it doesn't benefit the United States. We're in partnership on this MEADS missile program with the Italians and the Germans, and most of this $380 million is going to help, I guess, jobs in Germany and Italy.
So what does Harry Reid have against it? What's his reasoning? What did he tell you?
Oh, it's too hard to bring all the amendments, Martha. It's really absurd. I mean, at this point, it's like basically another one of those deals trying to stop us from eliminating wasteful spending in Washington. I mean, this is why the American people are so frustrated with what happens in Washington. It's outrageous that you can't strike this money for a missile to nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it on a personal level, and if you had something that would save you a big chunk of money and you knew you weren't going to use it, nobody in the family was going to use it, it would be very easy to cross it off the list. Let's pull up this Fox News poll. It goes to the issue of the White House tours, which we just bring up because, you know, I think it's something that everyone can sort of relate to. We were told by the White House that the Secret Service simply could not afford to continue these tours. And that prompts the question, well, what else, could we get rid of to keep some of these things in place? So if you look at this, it says, could President Obama reinstate White House tours if he wanted to? 63% say yes, he could.
Of course he could. Martha, there's no question he could. I mean, okay, here's $380 million I got for you right there.
That's my point.
Strike that. The other point is this, in my office budget, Martha, last year, I gave back 21% of my budget. Are you telling me that the White House can't find funds within its budget to allow school children to see I mean, it's really ridiculous when you think about it, that they can't find funds within their existing budget. I know that they could if they tried.
We've also talked about the overlapping agencies, and I played yesterday a soundbite of the president in his own State of the Union address talking about how 3 different agencies dealt with salmon. And we looked it up to try to figure out if that was still happening, and it is still happening. And in many of the cases that he cited, those agencies have grown in their responsibilities, not been cut. What can be done about all of the overlap and redundancy?
Here's what can be done. Since I've been in the Senate a little over 2 years, I voted 5 times to implement government accountability reports that eliminate duplication, waste, and fraud. This work's already been done, Martha. We're multiple agencies across government, like 50 programs are working on the same thing with no results. And so there's a lot of work that we could do. I want to tell you, though, those 5 times I voted for it, it didn't pass. Can you believe it? No. When you think about it, yet we're not going to allow school children to go into the White House. That's where just no common sense in any of this.
Talk to me a little bit before I let you go about the Paul Ryan budget will be voted on today. You've got Patty Murray's version of the budget over in the Senate. Where does this all look to be headed, in your opinion?
Well, right now, the Democratic budget in the Senate is fiscally irresponsible. You got over $1 trillion in new taxes in it. It never balances. It doesn't deal with the underlying fiscal challenges and crisis facing our country. By contrast, what Congressman Ryan has put forward is going to balance in the 10th year. It doesn't raise taxes, and it puts us on a responsible fiscal path. So there's a real contrast, and I think you'll hear that contrast on the Senate floor. We'll be bringing amendments to try to change the budget that the Democrats have offered to strike the tax increases and to balance the budget.
How long will you hang in there on this, on your missile to nowhere in holding up the passage of this?
Well, Martha, it passed yesterday, so I did whatever I could. I objected to Harry Reid, but I want you to know, Martha, I'm not letting this go. In fact, I'm going to keep bringing this up on any bill I can to strike this money.
Kelly Ayotte, Senator from New Hampshire, thank you very much. Good to have you with us again.
Martha.
We'll see you soon.